I'm Alane Freund, and this is Annet Zwart, and we are here with you today as international consultants on high sensitivity.
I'm so happy to talk about this topic. I've been sharing a little bit in the Facebook group as well, and happy to also be doing this on Instagram now. So one of the things that I am so excited about is mental fitness for HSPs, because this is so important to grow resilience, to cope better with difficult situations, and to just have more the ability to deal with life itself. And so I'm really happy to talk to Alane here about this topic, about the mental fitness, and how, like, talking a little bit about, like, what is it, how do you get it, and what can you do to gain more of that into your life. So I'm really excited about it, to talk to you. There's so many things always going on for us, and we are so sensitive to our surroundings. And so to have the resilience for that, I mean, we all have been through a lot of, most of us have been through a lot of struggles and even more difficult things. And to have the tools to mentally cope with it, I think that's one of the biggest challenges, to deal with that. And we haven't learned how to do that. I mean, most of the time it's more the basic things that you learn in life, and not the real coping mechanisms and the tools for how to do that. The resilience that I talked about, to deal with difficult emotions in life and difficult situations. And I think oftentimes we see the emotions as very intense, and we experience them also more intense. And one of the things that I've learned in positive intelligence is that you can see emotions as sort of information. It's like we feel something, especially the negative emotions, and it's like putting your hand on a hot stove. Like, you feel it, it's burning, and it gives you an information, like, what do I do with this? And then what we often do is we keep our hand on the hot stove, because we feel this emotion, we think about it, we hold on to it, it's sometimes very intense. And so I think what basically the emotions are for is giving us the information, like, we need to adjust something. And so to look at the situation, like, what are we going to do with this? And then you adjust something to the fact, so you don't hold on to the emotion. And so I really like that analogy, like, to use emotions as a compass, sort of a way to guide you to what to do and what needs to be changed. And so with mental fitness, it's like, with the positive intelligence, it's like, normally we have a lot of information already, but insight alone is not so much enough. I mean, normally you have 20% insight, and then it's 80% practice. You really need to work on it to get it into your daily life, like a daily habit almost. And that is what you can create with positive intelligence. And so that's one of the things that I love so much about it.
You know, my favorite topic in the entire world with regard to highly sensitive people is differential susceptibility. And I just want to remind us all that this comes into play, right? If we had stress in our childhood, or even if we have stress now, we're more likely to be challenged. And that's why we need nuts and bolts tools. I mean, I can't tell you how many people say, I do everything right, and I'm still feel negative. I'm still depressed. I'm still anxious. I still can't function at the level I want to. And I think it's like we do the best we can. We feel like we're doing a lot, but we haven't really made that commitment to a daily practice.
Yeah.
And I get the impression from talking to you, Annette, that mental fitness has that to offer us.
Yes, I think so. Well, I think one of the advantages, I mean, we all know how hard it is to create a new habit, right? And that's what you basically also do along with other things with positive intelligence. You have when you enter the program, you download this app on which you can watch the videos for weekly sessions. So to really dive deeply into the topics. But the greatest thing is that you have each morning, you get this daily focus with a topic that you're going to work on for the rest of the week. And then you get 3 reminders each day to do the work. And so that is what is also so great about it. Plus you get to do it with a community, like a small group of 4, 5, 6 people, something like that. And so you have sort of like accountability, and it doesn't take forever to learn something. Once you have gone through the first 6 weeks, you basically already have a little bit more of a habit created. I mean, there's all sorts of different lengths on the internet to be found, like how long does it take to create a habit, and I think it varies mostly between 6 weeks and 3 months. And so I think creating that habit is very important. And also to let me share a little bit more about the program. It's you basically have 3 muscles that you want to build. And one of it is to intercept your saboteur thoughts. Like we all have that judge, right? That is constantly judging us for everything we do. Like, oh, you didn't do this very well, and you should have done much better job. And we should have gotten it fixed right away with starting Instagram and having the right tools and everything. So we're all so judgmental about ourselves, about situations, about other people. And so and then there's also 9 other saboteurs. One of them like the victim or the controller, the stickler, for instance. And so all of these saboteurs, they have their own voice, and to learn to recognize their patterns and what they say to you is something that is really important. Like this is the basic, really. And once you start to recognize your saboteurs, you can intercept them. You can change these thoughts into more positive ones, which we call from the sage perspective, like your inner.
Let me pause you. Wait. Too much information at once.
I know you're so
excited about this.
That's okay. Go ahead.
You're reminding me of this tool I teach in Are You Highly Sensitive all the time, which is awareness, acceptance, action. How important it is that we have to be able to recognize what our challenges are, what our saboteurs are.
Absolutely.
And so this program helps us do that. And we all need some kind of practice. They call it a practice for a reason, right? Whether you're meditating or exercising or doing mental fitness, you have to practice it by doing it over and over and over again until it becomes a part of who you are.
Yeah.
The other thing, when I was reading and listening to you about the judge, I have that blog that I named after the Elvis Presley song, Don't Be Cruel to a Heart That's True.
Mm-hmm.
Like there are no more true hearts in the world than highly sensitive people. Our deep empathy, that's why you say that pleaser is probably one of our big HSP saboteurs.
Yes.
But also the judge, because we notice so much.
Yeah.
Like we know how people could do it better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? And we in our good-heartedness, we want to tell them.
Yeah.
But the place that we're the most judgmental is toward ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? And I think that's where we get into the mental fitness program, right?
Yeah. Well, I think one of the things what you're saying is very important indeed. Like the judge is very judgmental about situations, but it's coming from a negative place. And if you, on the other side, you have your sage, your inner wisdom, and it has the same knowledge, but it's coming from a place of love and from a place of ease and flow. And it is so much more with more insight, like from the positive, like if what you're saying as an example, like if you see something that could work better for someone, the judge would probably like, oh, this is not going very well, it should be much better. Why doesn't this person see this? And I've told them like millions of times or whatever. But coming from a sage perspective, you could inquire, you could look at it with empathy. You could also think like, well, maybe they need something else before they can do something from a different perspective, or maybe they need something else, different information, or I don't know, could be all kinds of things. And to switch between the saboteur and, now my neighbor is starting to mow his grass. Can you hear that, or?
No, I can't.
Okay, well, that's good.
The garbage truck just went by in front of my house, so it's life.
Good. But to switch between that saboteur, that judge voice, to the sage inner wisdom is something that is, you can think about it, but before you can really feel that shift, that is the third ingredient with positive intelligence. It's the self-command muscle. How do you focus and calm yourself and to get back to that quiet inside? Because when you're in judge mode, in saboteur mode, you're anxious, you're frustrated, you're angry, you're sad, all these emotions that are not commonly, like, they're negative. And so switching between that, you can think about it, but it's often so hard to go from like, I'm frustrated, to, well, I'm peaceful. That's not possible, right?
Right.
So you need to have that shift in the middle. And that's where the self-command muscle, that's what you'll learn in positive intelligence, how to do that, how to calm yourself. And that's,
sorry,
go ahead.
I'm a science geek, as you all know. And I just want to bring the science into why this can be so effective. We have to always remember that our sage is stronger than our judge. That's one of the birthrights of highly sensitive people. The research is really clear that our reaction to positive stuff is stronger than our reaction to negative stuff. Yes, our reactions to all of it are stronger than the 80% or however many they are, the people who don't have the trait. Yeah. Granted. So people always ask me, why do we always notice the negative? Why is the judge so much louder if our sage is actually stronger just by the nature of our brain? Mm-hmm. And I think the reason is that it's a habit, a bad habit.
Oh, yeah.
We, especially if you had stress in your childhood or you have stress now, you want to improve things. And so you pay attention, or more attention, to the judge or to the critic, to the negative side. So if you really believe the science, and I do, this is good research, right?
Yeah.
So if we're to believe the good research, what the scientists are telling us, we are more likely to benefit from paying attention to the sage. And we have a stronger sage than people who are not highly sensitive.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we need to really take charge of our lives and our brains. So that's what I love about this program and the opportunity to learn these tools. And I'm so psyched. And let me just say, Annette, that you have learned this and that you're bringing it to our community. In the Eventbrite that we wrote up for Friday, just so everyone knows, on Friday this week, what is that, the 7th of October, Annette and I are going to be digging into this for a whole hour and taking your questions and really giving a thorough introduction. This is just a taste right now, right? Because Annette's, the first round of this program where you can train in mental fitness with Annette, it starts October 10th. So we're hitting you hard this week. We want to really convince you that not to give Annette your money. It's not about that. And, I'll tell you, neither Annette nor I have 100,000 followers with lots of ads in our content. We are not getting rich off of you.
No.
We're just do-gooders.
Yeah.
But anyway, let me just say that this first round, you'll do it over and over again, right? And it'll be available for people for a long time.
It's too good of a program to stop doing it. So that's one of the things that and to add to the science geek, I love science as well. And I also enjoy things that are tangible. It's not some sort of woo-woo program out there or anything.
Right.
The positive intelligence program is also all the way backed up by science. This really works. And it's really, everything about it is researched, and it's used in so many different places. It's used on, I forget the name of the university that Shirzad Khamin, which is the founder of positive intelligence. I forget which university he works for. I shouldn't forget that, but
isn't he either at UC Berkeley, Cal, or at Stanford?
I think it was Stanford, indeed.
He's
Stanford,
in my area, and he's in a very prestigious university.
Yeah, and so all of this stuff has been tested on students, with athletes and everything, and it's backed up by all the science that it's really working. So that's why I also love it. And it's not only that, I experienced it myself. I started with it like half a year ago, and it really works.
This is what I wanted you to say. This is where I was going. Tell us about it in your own life.
It has been amazing. I've posted it in the Alane A's Facebook group. 2 weeks ago, I went to Scotland with my husband on vacation. We were on the ferry and the weather was crazy. It was the waves were really high. It was raining. It was so windy. The boat was rocking and it was like crazy. The captain had warned us how bad the weather was going to be. It was so quiet in the dining rooms. And we went to our beds feeling queasy and everything. And it was downright scary because the boat made so much noise. It was squeaking and it was making the bumps on the waves, and you rolled around in your bed. It was really scary. I'm not used to being on boats. And so my brain tried to go on this anxiety, the rampage, like what's going to happen? We're going to drown, the boat's going to sink, there's going to be a fire, or all kinds of things. And I with positive intelligence, using all the things that I've learned, I was able to calm my brain. I was able to lie in my bed, have faith and confidence, like I will be fine, nothing will happen. And so instead of normally letting the anxiety build up and letting your saboteurs create all this stress and anxiety and frustration and being scared, I was able to switch it to being calm and to focus and to just sleep even. So that's
exactly what you did in your brain. How did you switch it? Tell us exactly what you did in your brain.
Well,
in that moment.
Recognizing, well, that is the three things I talked about. Recognizing the saboteur voices, like they are not speaking truth. They're lying to us, like you should do better. You're going to die. No, that's not true. This boat has been going up and down the same places for years, for like decades. So that's not true. Recognizing the lies of the saboteurs, then calming yourself by using the self-command muscle, by really calming yourself. I can show you one of the ways to do that, which is called the PQ rep. It's like if you go to the gym, you use and exercise your body, your brain is the same. You also need to build a muscle. So one of the ways to do that, and everyone who's watching, you can try it. If you put your fingers on top of each other and you rub them against each other in such a tension that you feel the ridges, and to really focus on that feeling, to really sense the ridges moving against each other, and just do that for 10 seconds and really focus on the feeling. That is just a simple PQ rep. And that is one thing that calms your brain. This has been studied in MRI studies as well. Like it really works. And so this is only one of the many ways that you can calm your mind and focus your body again. So that is the the self-command training that you learn in positive intelligence. And then you have space for like, what will my sage do? What is true? And so then coming from that perspective, and then you can really make that shift. So those are the three important things to have, to intercept the saboteur, train your self-command, and to expand your sage perspective. And that's the three things I used.
It's fabulous. That's cool that you were able to do that. And I think, this builds on cognitive behavioral therapy and anxiety interventions in a really nuts and bolts way. And I love that. I think we should wrap this up, this live. We've been going at it for a while now. Yeah. And we really want to encourage you to come and talk to us at length live, if you possibly can, on Friday morning or Friday evening if you're in Europe. I'll just give you the baseline time, which is 1 p.m. US Eastern. What time is that in the UK? I'm not in the UK, in the Netherlands, in Central Europe.
In the Netherlands, it would be 7 p.m. in the evening
7 p.m.
and 6 in the UK.
And 6 in the UK. So, and then you'll translate that, everybody, to your own time zones. But we're going to talk about a few very specific tools and help you identify which are your saboteurs. So I think it's a great way, a great introduction to the whole program. I'm sure that most people are going to want to do this program. I do want to just say, Annette, since you're not a great marketer, she just said that earlier. I'm not either, but I force myself. It's like extroverting. No, you've done a couple of really good videos. I'm really impressed by the work you're doing in that regard, because it's so hard. But aren't you doing your program starting October 10th at something like half price or something? It's sort of like a pilot, because you're not full on doing it yet.
Exactly. Normally the 6 weeks program with positive intelligence is $995. And I've created, with the 6 weeks, I've made it into a 13-week program, because I think HSPs love more depth and going more and longer in term.
Absolutely.
And I'm way below the price. So it's really, really cheap. And it's also, like you said, it's the first time that I'm doing the whole program. So this time only will be less expensive.
And you're keeping it to a really small group.
Yes, well, that works best, I think, to have like 5-6 people going through the program together. That way you really get to connect and to really share your experiences. And I like these smaller groups better than, because if you do it like for 20 people, it will just be, you can't really connect anymore. Right. So
yeah, exactly. All right. So the first step is to go to Eventbrite. We'll put the links in the comments on Facebook and on Instagram, and join us on Friday if you possibly can.
Absolutely. And you can also always reach out via email or via Facebook or even Instagram.
So let's both give our email addresses. Mine is areyouhighlysensitive@gmail.com. That's easy to remember. And Annette?
Mine is contact@highsensitivecoaching.com.
Contact@highsensitivecoaching.com. We'll put those in the comments too.
Yeah.
Because we want to be accessible to you. So remember, on Friday, we're going to take your live questions, and they don't just have to be about mental fitness. You can ask us anything you want about your brain and living as a highly sensitive person. It's a great time to pick our brains. So register and come and reach out to Annette about the mental fitness program.
Yay.
Because
love to talk to you. Look forward to it.
And we can change our lives and our brains.
Absolutely.
You don't have to just keep going along.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I think it's amazing that once you really want it and you're really focused, it's possible to make that change for everyone, not only for some, but for everyone. I'm 100% convinced of that.
Absolutely. I'm going to actually link this blog I just put up, where I said at the end of it, do you want the change? Can you see the change? Maybe you're ready to be the change.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Have a look. Thank you all
One
so
thing
much
I
for
want
putting
to
up with it. Oh, go ahead.
One thing I just thought of now is you can also, if you want to know more about the mental fitness, and you can also listen to my podcast, Sensitive and Strong. You can find that on all popular media. And there's also one about mental fitness. So I'm explaining more about it also in detail.
Great.